2010 Buick Enclave here. We're doing struts. There's my new ones, old ones already out on this side. Hindsight's better than foresight, so here you go. First thing you want to do is get this piece off. You just got clips that you got to pry out. One goes there and all the way across. There's clips. Get those loosened. Right at the front here, there's a clip that holds it down in here, this little piece. Then once you have all those clips out, you'll notice that your windshield wipers have to come off as well. So you can see I've got my marked alignment there, so I make sure I get it on there right. And those are fun to get off. Little tip there, I guess, is put pressure on it with some kind of bar. I use this guy here. My trick was basically from this angle, hard to tell with this thing's in the way, but from this side of the car, I pry it up and then I just, wiggle and wiggle, and eventually it pops off those splines. Okay, same on both sides. The middle is even trickier. Just make sure you mark them so you don't mess up your windshield wiping later on. Okay, so once those two are off, the next thing you got to pop off for this clip is your battery post. This battery post goes on there through that hole, so that just unscrews, and then you can wiggle this off. I use a flat blade screwdriver to pop these out. Some of them were stubborn, so I ended up just prying it off with the plastic. And probably should get new ones. These ones will probably just be fine, but as you take them out, they get right mangled. So they're cheap. You get new plastic clips. So once that's out, then you got access inside to the top of your strut towers, like so. Those are the last thing I take off. But it's just good to be prepped, because you're going to have to jack up your car is the next step. So jack it up, get your jack stand. Don't rest everything on your jack, you're wearing it out. So get your wheel off. Then you got to unhook your clips out of your strut. And then this guy, you need to put pressure on that, because some of these right here will have a place you can put your wrench on. Yeah, so you can hold this from spinning, because this is actually just a bearing almost. It just spins inside, and so it allows it to move all the way around. So you'll be trying to spin your socket, and this will just keep spinning with it. So you got to keep back pressure on it. What I used was, actually I used a wrench. An 18 mil was actually the right size for the front. There it is there. And yeah, just kept some pressure on it, on the bolt, so it would pry off when I was spinning it with my impact wrench. And eventually it came loose. I like to keep that in there when I'm doing struts. Keep it attached to your strut still, and that holds it in place from falling down when you do your last bolts. When you pop off those three at the top, you can pop all three of those off, hang it by that, so then it doesn't crash. You don't have to worry about holding it. That holds it just fine, and then you can just kind of pry that off after, pull it off, and you got your whole strut right back out. And there's the bummed out one. So the only step that I didn't tell you about was cracking these. So these are these big bolts right here. These guys are big. So this right side is splined in. Keep that in mind. Don't try to turn the small side. You got to turn the big side. So WD-40, get them loosened up. The socket size, you might want to know that, because some people don't have big sockets like this. It's actually my biggest one that I have. 15/16 is what I had to use. So I learned from the previous side that I already did that impact wasn't strong enough to bust these off on mine. So I tried my 1/2-inch breaker bar, and that was flexing. So you're going to want a 3/4 breaker bar, or if you're got something like this in your shop, I got some nice thick square tubing that worked perfect for a snipe. And all that means, I guess, if you don't know what a snipe is you can now take your regular 1/2-inch drive socket wrench and ratchet wrench, and then you got lots of play to get this bottom one. That was the issue. I couldn't get my breaker bar even really on the bottom one very good. It didn't give me much clearance, but as soon as I had something like that for my snipe, which you always, there it goes, then you always bury right down for the best contact on your thing. It didn't actually take that much force, but I know the torque is quite high for those guys. So that's that. Those came loose, and then all you do is when you're ready to pop these splines out, pop them out of this side, just make sure you get a couple threads on your nut, leave your nut on, so you're not, and you hammer that nut so you're not messing up these threads. You always keep your nut on when you're hammering out a bolt. So you get that hammered out, and it pops right out. Hindsight, also, what I didn't tell you, first, before you're starting to loosen everything off, you're going to want to mark this edge on here just to keep your alignment. So what I did is I took a nice sharp pick tool and I marked these lines all the way down so I could see roughly the alignment when I put the new one in. What I noticed is that the old strut and the new strut weren't exactly manufactured the same, but this line still helped me keep it parallel and straight up and down. And I did the same on this side as well. Dark, but you can't see. I did mark this side as well, just for a double check, because this does affect your alignment, because these holes right at the bottom are adjustable. They're ovaled out, so you will get quite a bit of play and out of that. So I don't know what that affects your caster camber or whatever, but you want to make sure you get that. Otherwise, if you're doing this job and professionally, you might just want to recommend an alignment anyways, depending on what else you might be replacing. Anytime you're doing any kind of steering suspension things, quite a bit of them affect your alignment, so keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, concerns, comment below, like and subscribe. Luke's Garage, I'm out. Have a good one.